Hello and welcome to the Superscript New Comic Minute for the week of Wednesday, February 22nd. We have a new staff member and cast member on the New Comic Book Minute, our friend Thorn, who's joining us here at Superscript. Thorn, what are you excited to read this week?
It's actually a big week. It's a good week to start. The first two are actually two number ones that I just started looking at that seem pretty cool. This one's called Moriarty Clockwork Empire, and if you know me, you know I love gothic horror, and steampunk not as much, but gothic horror I do love. And this looks spooky. It looks almost From Helly. Who doesn't like Alan Moore stuff? One of the other things I really love is some bright colored fantasy. And this looks like a really fun Vault number one. Vault has been my go-to for fantasy books. I love Barbaric.
Yeah.
I love Vampire the Masquerade.
And After End was pretty good too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That one's really good too. So this looks fun. It's got great art. It's colorful. It's a new adventure to jump onto. Sounds great. Speaking of jumping onto new jumping on points, Superman's starting at number one. You might have heard of this guy. He's a local guy. Josh Williamson, who I actually think is a really underrated DC writer, picking up Superman. You got Superman and Lois kissing in here. Little spoilers. Livewire's on the cover. What could not be to love? It's Superman at number one. Pick it up. And once again, going with artists I love, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is only on 3. And it has Dan Mora art, who is one of the best artists, I think, in superhero books right now. And he gets to draw turtles turning into dinosaurs. Or, I'm sorry, Power Rangers turning into dinosaurs. So, that's really fun.
I could have seen turtles turning into Power Rangers, or turning into dinosaurs.
I think they turned into Power Rangers in the first one. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Power Rangers 2. And then, my favorite DC Afternoon character was always Darkwing Duck. Anything that was a Batman pastiche.
It had the best theme song.
It also had the best theme song, and he's a great single father. He's a good role model. It's got Launchpad McQuack. It's got all your favorite characters in it, and it's fun. Now, my favorite thing is X-Men. And it's a big week for X-Men. Since the Sinister continues with Immoral X-Men, which is the Kieran Gillen book. Kieran Gillen writes some of the best X-Men and writes the best Mr. Sinister, which is what this whole book is about, Mr. Sinister. So, who doesn't want to read that? My number one pick this week, which is my last pick, but it's my number one pick, is Betsy Braddock Captain Britain. I've been loving all the Teenie Howard Captain Britain stuff. It goes back to the classic Alan Moore, Marvel UK stuff. It goes into the classic Claremont Excalibur stuff. But this is a great new number one jumping on point to get really into it. She's finally on a solo book. She has a girlfriend. It's Rachel Summers. It's a time-traveling character from the future because it's X-Men. And it's just, I'm so excited for this book.
This is like a real X-Men reader's X-Men book, right?
Yeah, or also if you don't even like X-Men, if you just like fantasy or something too, because it's Captain Britain always deals with like Otherworld and like King Arthur and stuff like that. There's a lot of that in here. If you like Psylocke in the 90s, that's Psylocke. She's Captain Britain. She has her body back. It's confusing. It's a little... but I'm very excited for this book. Speaking of Kieran Gillen and X-Men,
Teenie Howard's writing it?
Teenie Howard's writing it. Who's one of my favorite writers of comics right now. She's going to be writing Harley soon. We'll probably going to talk about that later. Judgment Day. Super fun crossover. Eternals wasn't the movie for me. Eternals, the comics, I love it. And it's Kieran Gillen writing X-Men, Eternals, and Avengers. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's
really
epic.
good.
It's scaled. It's got everyone you want.
Right on. All right. Well, thank you. Actually, I'm gonna pick up that Captain Britain book. It's not super on my radar, actually. All right. We got a couple of things. I got most of the indie stuff this week, so we are. I am very excited. We are. I am very excited for Tim Seeley's Local Man, which is like a kind of comical superhero deconstruction. Along, not super far off the lines of something like local writer Joe Surecki's, based in Cleveland, Captain Suave. But yeah, what is real, what is not sort of superhero story. But Local Man covers clearly an homage to things you are familiar with. If you liked any of the things that came out of Thorn's mouth towards the end of that.
He's got lifelong face guards.
Yeah, absolutely. The hair pops out, but
there's some silver covers.
And speaking of fantasy, kind of a dark comedic fantasy, I guess would be the best way to describe it, with some of the best art around, would be the Maurice's Vaults Barbaric #2, I think. Is it Mordecai or Maurice? I am never quite sure. But this book has been coming out in little 3-issue arcs here and there. It is about a barbarian who is cursed to carry around an axe that gets drunk on blood and only lets him kill when it is in the name of the just cause. Really funny, really good art. Sends up a lot of classic fantasy tropes. Kitsune, if you like Usagi Yojimbo, but you're like, it is not hyper violent enough for me, then Kitsune is up your alley. Very much a play on Lone Wolf and Cub, but what if more people were decapitated? Then, speaking of decapitations, that's the best segue I could muster.
That's a great. Frank loves cutting people's heads off.
Yeah, he does.
He does it in both of the movies.
That's true. Which everyone's favorite Punisher.
I like Punisher War Journal.
We don't have nearly a time in this minute-long
whatever.
episode.
This is Punisher War Journal.
Punisher War Journal base, written by Gronbeck, who has been doing a lot of stuff around the Marvel universe lately. Kind of an up and comer. Don't do it Thor. Yeah, I guess is the biggest one right now. But yeah, this is ties into the ongoing Jason Aaron Punisher, where he is the leader of the Hand. His wife's back. And the whole thing's crazy and good. It's better than I expected when they were like, "Hey, we're coming out with a Punisher book in 2022," and I was like, "Maybe we don't need that."
And he's original,
yeah. And it turned out to be all right. Speaking of things that turned out to be all right, because man, has this been good since it's finally come back. We have Saga, we have Fiona Staples and Brian K. Vaughan writing the best comic I've maybe ever read. And hopefully giving it a run for its money, though. James Tynan writing a like supernatural abduction mystery story. This has been probably one of like the hottest like pre-orders of books that came out this week for an indie title. Blue Book by James Tynan and what's the full name? What's Oming's full name?
Michael
Avon Oeming,
the guy who drew Powers.
I always want to call him Brian Michael Bendis Avon Oeming because he also has a 3-part name and they worked on Powers together. But yeah, Oeming, between Powers and Mice Templar and a bunch of other stuff, one of my favorite artists. And the idea that he is working with James Tynan is like, absolutely, I'm over the moon about it. And then finally, just because, well, if you know anybody who works at the store, we are all huge fans of Weird Al.
Weird Al comic.
We have the illustrated Al, the songs of Weird Al Yankovic, with a forward written by Emo Phillips.
Lots of great artists in there.
Yeah.
There's some Mike Allred. There's some other guys.
It's kind of a like murderer's row of talent in this Weird Al comic. Really nice hardcover. Z2 who does a lot of musical written stuff putting it out. So I cannot wait to get the shrink off this and read it. This looks awesome. Let us know in the comments what you are looking forward to this week. And Thorn and I will be back here next week. You're going to get some of Thorn, some of me, some of Nick. We're going to get Christine back in here, Beckett and Sean. As the family continues to grow, we're going to try and spice up who is on the New Comic Minute. But for the most part, I think it's going to be me and Thorn are going to be the main cast of characters here. So hopefully you like what we have to say about comics. And hopefully you're ready to hear about double the X-Men content.
A lot of X-Men.
Thanks, everybody.